We are back, and the Browns have released their initial 53-man roster. I'm sure there will be some changes between now and the start of the regular season, but at this very moment, this is what we got to work with for the Browns. And, not a whole lot of surprise in making the final 53, although Jordan Kunazik at linebacker is a bit of a deep cut, and DeAnthony Bell becoming the first ever undrafted rookie to make the initial 53-man roster in the Andrew Berry regime. He did look very good in the preseason, and he must have throughout camp and joint practices with the Eagles. So good for DeAnthony Bell to make a roster spot. That's great for him. Hopefully he becomes a utility guy that the Browns can use even now and especially in a couple years down the road. Something that's not necessarily a surprise, but it is a little bit disappointing that Johnny Stanton will be moving on from the Browns, and it looks like he's not even going to land on the practice squad, maybe a mutual going apart for Johnny Stanton in the Browns organization. Johnny Stanton is listed as a fullback, but he has shown some mobility. I hope he finds a spot on at least a practice squad somewhere. I do think he provides something that other NFL teams could use. And, this roster still has some glaring issues, most notably at wide receiver. So the Browns did end up cutting Javon Wims, Jamarcus Bradley, and Mike Harley Jr., leaving only 5 wide receivers on the initial 53, including with really Amari Cooper being the only real receiving threat. I don't think any of the other 4 make defenses have to worry too much, at least at this point in their careers. If Anthony Schwartz can develop the ability to catch the ball and Donovan Peoples-Jones has that breakout season, then maybe you feel differently. And if David Bell turns out to be as good of a third-round pick as people are saying he will be, maybe that receiver room looks better. But right now it's kind of an unknown, and that's what you're relying on at your receiving group. If the Browns really need more wide receivers, and a few of these guys going on IR seems kind of likely, maybe Chase Winovich, Michael Woods, one of their wide receivers who had a lingering injury throughout a lot of camp. And I believe Jack Conklin might not be ready to start by week 1 as well. And they do need a returner and receiver, so maybe hard knock star, former Detroit Lion Khalil Pimpleton might work for the Browns, but again, they haven't really seemed to be connected to any returner yet, so maybe that changes in the upcoming days. Center and defensive tackle, both of those positions are a weakness as well. The Andrew Berry regime hasn't really given much credence to the defensive tackle position in general, as long as he's been the GM. There was the 4th round pick on Perrion Winfrey. Winfrey has looked kind of so-so. He is a rookie that was drafted in the 4th round, so expecting him to just immediately be a star player right away might have been a bit, maybe jumping the gun a little bit on the part of some Browns fans. And really nobody else has stuck out in the defensive tackle position really ever since Sheldon Richardson left, and they kind of lowballed him a little bit and left him kind of insulted, so he went to the Vikings. And center as well, they released their undrafted free agent center, Brock Hoffman, leaving only one true center, although they have used Michael Dunn, who they kept around as a backup center. So I guess they're rolling with Ethan Posick and Michael Dunn to start at center, at least for now. There have been some rumors that the Browns are in on tight end O.J. Howard. The Browns only kept 2 tight ends, which is a little bit different from the years past. They only kept Njoku and Harrison Bryant. They were the only 2 NFL-proven talents they had at the tight end room. So if they're linked to O.J. Howard, then maybe one of these guys is going on IR, and O.J. Howard is there just in case for injury, or maybe they do run some more 3 tight end sets like we saw last year, especially with Jacoby Brissett being the quarterback for the first 11 games. Everything else is kind of, same old. We have Dearness Johnson and Kareem Hunt trade rumors that haven't really escalated beyond rumors at this point, but it is a little strange to have 5 running backs on your 53-man roster with Chubb and Hunt, Johnson, although Demetric Felton is kind of also a wide receiver at this point, so maybe there's actually 4 running backs and 6 wide receivers, which is a little more of a traditional 53-man roster kind of layout for the running backs and the wide receivers. If Demetric Felton truly is transitioning to wide receiver, even though they, in the lead up to the offseason, the Browns were kind of insisting that he was a running back, and he would be this year, but he's still taking reps as a wide receiver, and the Browns are really thin at that position, so even if you're half of a wide receiver, you're kind of stuck with that group at this point in time, especially with the log jam at the depth chart, where Jerome Ford, who looked very good in the preseason, still comes out only fourth at the. He's RB4, and he had a pretty impressive preseason for a rookie running back in the 5th round. Not much else to report on. We'll see what happens more in the upcoming days. If somebody goes on IR, if the Browns make a trade or pick up somebody from the waiver wires, some of the cuts from other teams, and we'll see how that transpires and how that plays out. Thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, please feel free to leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the video and like to see more. Thank you all again for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you with the next one.